Greetings, timeshare travelers. This is the Timeshare Traveler. Today's episode is how to be happy with your timeshare purchase. This is just a beginner sort of basic 101, and the bottom line premise, the one takeaway is use it. That's how you enjoy it. Is put it to the greatest use. Before I go into the details, I'll tell you a little bit about my channel, and then I'll go into the detail.
Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm your timeshare traveler. The goal of my YouTube channel is improving your timeshare travels. I'll do this through timeshare video reviews, tips for using timeshares, and much, much more. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, Twitter at Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. And if you like my videos, don't forget to click subscribe below.
Greetings. So, you have to use your timeshare in order to be happy. Just like other examples that are obvious, it sounds rather obvious, but it sometimes isn't. Is you have to, like a car or an RV, isn't very much fun if it's just sitting in the driveway, and that's kind of the logical extension of a timeshare. Unless you're using the timeshare, it's not that much fun. The one thing about timeshares is a little different than cars. They come with an owner's manual often. A timeshare, they do have documents that come with it, but in general, it's more or less, there's more open-ended, and timeshares are much more fun the kind of joy is kind of on your shoulders. It's how much you're going to use it and how much you're going to explore with it. Sort of more or less like the trips you take. And the last point I want to make to you really is the joy is usually directly correlated to how much you learn about the different choices you have as a timeshare. Those are the key points. And I'll go through a few more things in detail, but that's really the key points of how to be happy. Don't let it sit in the driveway. Figure out how to use this and work at it to figure out what all the choices you are and use them all. Well, here's one of the obvious things that I hear from a lot of people. They sit down with a sales presentation, and too many salespeople make it sound that every dream they want to do with the timeshare is easy. Well, the reality of everything, where is that in life? No place in life do I find that. Reality is it requires work to get the full benefit of a timeshare. Learn everything you can, all options you have. Read it as if it was an owner's manual. Go on the website and see what the options are. Just explore it all. The more you do, the happier you'll be. And I always say, the timeshare business, unfortunately, you learn about it. You're kicking the tires, so to speak, actually after you own the timeshare. And I think the other thing is you have to be willing to plan, because the best vacations are ones you plan. And that really was true for me before I had a timeshare. The best vacations I had were the ones I planned out. Even though we have the romantic sense of a short, immediate, spur of the moment idea, usually the ones that are better are planned out. Another thing I tell people is know what you want. That's true in so many things, but it's very true in timeshares. For example, are you going to do full weeks, or is this more like a 3-4 day weekend that you want to do a getaway and still have to plan for it? Do you belong to the associated hotel chain? Many of the timeshares other businesses have the hotels. So are you connected? Are you leveraging across the different platforms? Are you wanting to go to the same location, or really did you buy the timeshare to explore the various options you have? Other questions you have, what time of year do you want to do it? Do you always have the same time? Do you want to do it different times? Is planning hard for you? Some people, it's just not something they do. And I found in general, that's typically for timeshares anyway, something that if you're not interested in planning, usually it's very difficult to use your timeshare. And typically then people are not happy with it. The other option is you like planning, but you want to schedule a little closer, and there are last minute specials. So again, but really the highest level point is know what you want from your timeshare and then work hard to actually achieve that. It can be done. The next thing to make a timeshare enjoyable is learn from others. Learn from your own experience as well. I'm a member of the Timeshare Users Group, and it's filled with knowledgeable people who have been doing this for decades, and I'm a relatively, 10-year veteran. So although I have a lot of expertise, I learn a lot from people that have been doing it even more. It's TUG, T-U-G, Timeshare Users Group. Um, Practice and keep getting better. As you're on vacation, it's great fun. And just remember what worked well for you, what didn't. I often hear great vacation stories, in the hot tub or various people, because people are relaxed and enjoying themselves on vacation. Take advantage of that. The last thing, which is so true about life, but don't try to be perfect. Don't have it's good to aim for the perfect vacation, but don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Enjoy what you're doing. And don't try to be too hard on yourself. Enjoy this and make it better and better and better. Another critical thing, learn all of your options. Learn about the number of points for each season for the locations you want. Just explore. Just, again, start planning out trips, even the ones you're not going to take. So if you just sort of pretend like you're doing a trip, you learn a lot just from the experience of doing that. Learn what the last minute options are. Are there specials at certain locations? Like, for example, usually there's specials in Las Vegas and Orlando. There just happen to be a lot of timeshares in those two locations. So there's often specials where you can use less points for that. Leverage hotel options too, because sometimes you've got points that you've earned on your credit cards for paying your maintenance or various other things, or that you're given points for attending sales presentations. Learn about sort of the third-party RCI or Interval International are two of the sort of third-party, kind of exchanges where you can exchange your times, or you can also find, I've done lots of last-minute specials where timeshares are available in off-peak seasons in particular, and you can just get a vacation for, $40 a night, or, $300 or $400 or less for a week. And again, understand the point differences for weekends compared to weekdays. I found that that a weekend is roughly 40% of the cost of the week. And again, that's just my personal experience, and that's just an example that I'm using here to learn about all your options, because the more you learn, the better you get. It's just like anything else. The more you learn, the better you get, and the more, in this case, the more enjoyment you get with your timeshares and the more enjoyment you have with your life. And my most favorite and last topic is planning. Some people view plan as a four-letter word, but play is also a four-letter word. And so that's what I do when I think of planning. I actually think of playing. So how far ahead do you have to book depends on the timeshare, and also depends, you can sort of see if you look out at sort of near the extremes, which timeshares are more busy than others, so they're harder to get into. And so those are the ones that's the reality. You're going to have to plan further out for those. And the way I do it, I look at what the furthest out it is, and I plan backwards. I figure out when do I have to actually book this, and I sort of mark my calendar, not when I'm going to go on the vacation, but when I'm going to plan to go on the vacation. And again, it all partially also depends on whether you're booking full weeks or partials. Some timeshares have different limits for how far out you can plan a partial week. Usually full weeks are the full extent. Again, the other thing is how many weeks do you own, or days, and that may depend on the seasons you go. So sometimes I stretch my points by going off season. It's actually quieter, more relaxing, and I find that very, very, very enjoyable. And again, I've mentioned before, but part of the planning is what are the last minute specials, because those can be also exciting. I've gotten, within a 45-day window, I've gotten a whole week for under $400, as I've mentioned in the past, and it's almost like, I can't even stay at a hotel. I can't stay in so many different places for much less. It's almost cheaper than going camping if you do some of the last minute specials. So again, these are just all different types of planning, and I know it can be stressful for some people to plan, a lot of people to plan, but the better you can do it, you will get the most. That's probably the number one aspect. The better you can plan, the more enjoyable you're going to have with your timeshare. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this sort of how to get the most out of timeshare. It's based on my 10 plus years of experience, and I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you subscribe to my channel.